there are still some things that he himself can't see because he's stuck in his own head. And if you look back on all the books that I've written, all the stories that I've written, they're always from a singular point of view. Mm-hmm. So I've been reading a lot of novels that have multiple narrators, and so just absorbing and taking apart the techniques they use to tell a story with multiple narrators has been heavily influencing the third draft. So this is my first baby steps into multiple narrators, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, really, really fun too. I gotta say. Can I talk to you about Maggie, Jared's mom?
Yeah.
You know, she's easy to recognize, Eden. She's still,
she's fighting.
Fighting. That's right. She is. But she's still so fiercely protective of Jared.
Yeah.
But something has shifted between them. Can you talk about what that?
And he published that almost a week before the Atlanta murders, where we've seen like 6 Asian women were killed who were working at a massage parlor. They were killed tragically, and that's the galvanizing event that inspired more celebrities like Olivia.
Vultures, but these are not god vultures, they're natural vultures. Hung there in the thermal white out of noon, dark ash in the...
a little bigger, and the cortexes are bigger.
Can you actually see the difference? If I could look at these just with my eyes, would they look different?
Yeah, so actually you don't even need a microscope to see it. I mean, if I have that it's changing its expression at a different rate in human compared with chimp and gorilla. So basically we find that it's turning on sooner in the apes than it is in the human, and when it turns on, these cells change their shape, and then of course that has the impact on their cell cycle and everything that we just talked about. So by delaying ZEB2 in the human, you get a delay in this change in cell shape, and that's able to keep those cells proliferating really fast for longer.
So essentially evolution brought this gene into our brains to give it more time to do the growing?
You know, it looks like a pretty subtle change. The change in timing that we're talking about is only a couple of days. The change in the cell cycle speed is only a couple of hours. But because all of this...
Group cohesion, you need rigid hierarchies and obedience. That's what's important when you're on the battlefield. But that culture also has some unintended consequence, and I think it's led to a more permissive environment for sexual misconduct. It's an environment where it's inherently difficult for...
Two cashiers behind me. I get to the door of the store, and my mother is standing there, bold as brass, chatting.
There is no carbon tax. That's a competitive disadvantage.
McConaughey, who worked in the industry for decades, says the question is no longer if Canada is going to have carbon taxes. It's how high that price becomes. And he believes Ottawa should step in with some kind of mechanism to cushion the blow for oil companies that may struggle to compete. Well, we got an indication today that small businesses are feeling more optimistic. The Canadian Federation of
Towards it then, right now, so you either decide at one end or the other where you want to go. As well, the Little Fork Ferry, just a reminder, is not operating right now because of adverse weather. Adams Lake Ferry.
50 people per day.
Manusik says that sites like this one will be operating for months as people get both their first and second dose of vaccines. Kevin Cowden got his vaccine at the UVic site earlier this week and says it was very straightforward.
I wasn't standing in a crowd of people I didn't know and that sort of thing. It went real smooth, and I was in and out of there in under half an hour.
The Archie Browning vaccination site in Esquimalt will open on Monday.
Been a fantastic.
So when that must feel good too, like to know that not only you've been able to donate yourself, but also been like a driver to get even more people.
I think it's just part of our internal systems, and that what we do for a living is healthy. So it's just an extension.
So because before, like you said, you're going to be able to go every week now, right?
Yeah, you go once a week. As you're a guy, you can go once a week. If you're a female, you can go every 2 weeks. But I want to go once a week, so every Saturday I'm going to go there and take an hour out of my day, let them take what they need, to go have some cookies, and then go on with their day. It's relatively simple.
Because before, how often were you able to go before?
Every 56 days.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, it is a big difference. So I'm going to be able to continue some more. It's fantastic.
You're going to get to 100 real quick.
I'm going to break 100, but to be honest, there's a gentleman who's in Halifax who's at 1,200 donations all in plasmapheresis. I'll never catch him, but I'm coming.
Tell me you're going to do something to celebrate that.
You're listening to CBC Radio 1, 94.1 FM in Kamloops.
So the big question is, will we see prices go up?
We absolutely will, and they've already said that they will do that.
Rogers might pay $26 billion for Shaw, but will you be left to pick up the tab? The merger promises 5G and one less telecom to choose from. What's your reaction to the Rogers-Shaw deal? Join Ian Hannah-Mansing tomorrow afternoon on Cross Country Checkup and on the CBC Listen app.
He's issuing an apology, and it just feels like he's trying to buy car insurance after the accident. Like he's looking for retroactive coverage after these recent murders, and Atlanta has really brought the conversation forward, the anti-Asian racism.
Racist and classist. It is to say, don't have babies. And so you have a movement that is throwing out these suggestions that inherently negatively impact people who don't look like them.